Beyond
And
the
we
Walls, I call it.
are.
Are we live?
I-
Amen, amen. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, I'm glad you all joined in with us today. I was just thinking about this incredible workshop that we have tomorrow, and it is called Fail Forward Fast. And, I was just thinking about it. I was out to breakfast. I had a breakfast meeting this morning, and we were chopping it up and just talking about how challenging it is in life when you trying to do the right thing, how different things have a tendency of just showing up. My youngest son, he said life be lifing. And
right.
so, when you're trying to do things, you have so many setbacks and obstacles. And, we were just chopping it up. And I thought about, what, even though this workshop that's coming up on tomorrow at 9 o'clock is an entrepreneur workshop, this particular topic is one that everybody needs in their life, and that's how to fail forward fast. And so, Beyond the Walls, we'll welcome you to just one of those infomercials. How they jump on real quick or interrupt you while you're watching your YouTube video, and that commercial come on, and they don't tell you how long it's going to be, and you have to keep watching it to the end.
Right.
Well, we're not going to be on long. How you doing, Minister Brumfield?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. Thank you for having me on with you today.
Okay, awesome. So what makes it awesome? Normally when you ask people how they doing, they said, I'm making it, I'm okay, and things like that. But you say you're awesome. What makes it
Yeah,
awesome?
because I'm in expectation. I believe God is doing some amazing things, and I have been steadfast. I've been unmovable. I've been pressing my way. And so I'm just excited about what God is doing and how He's going to unfold everything that we've been working towards.
That sounds kind of churchy. Is,
Oh, it
is,
sounds churchy.
is that cliche? You know how you ask people that oftentimes who go to church, you ask them, they say, "Oh, I'm blessed by the best," or "I'm blessed and highly favored," and then it
Mhm.
becomes just a language or just words that they use. So when you're saying those things, are those things in your heart that you believe those things, or you just being churchy?
No, this is in my heart. I have been working. I am working hard on um, my business and stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things and just being used by God, not in a churchy way, but for real. Putting myself out there and allowing Him to use me because I know I can help people. I
Okay.
know that's what He created me to do. So giving me those opportunities and allowing me to see how things that I've produced and programs that I've had are really helping people. So I know it's just a matter of time before other people see the value in what I do.
Okay, all right, that's good, and that's a good segue for why I jumped on today. Why I asked you to come on is because most of the time, what people don't understand is when you're trying to do something, when you're thriving to do something, when you're building something, when you're working on producing something. A lot of times, people look on the outside, so they look at you and they see you, looking like you look, and they see your nice background, and they see your name, and they just think you don't have no challenges, that everything is just smooth, and you know as they used to say, hunky dory.
Right.
And that's why I pushed back when you said all the things that you said initially about how you were doing, because oftentimes when people look at us or when they look at what people are doing, they don't see behind the scenes. They don't see those times when you might feel like giving up or giving in or giving out, or those times when you have to work through situations or circumstances or conditions. They don't see times when it don't work.
Right.
you know they just see kind of the finished product kind of thing, you know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
when you talk about working hard and all of the things that you're doing. This workshop coming up, and all of the workshops has been amazing to me. The information has been good, the presenters has been good, and let's put that flyer up for the workshop for those of you who may not know what we're talking about. On tomorrow, we Beyond the Walls have a workshop called Fail Forward Fast, and so this is a workshop about learning how to thrive despite setbacks. And the workshop is tomorrow from 9 to 3. And we're going to be talking about strategies of how to bounce back. We're going to be talking about how to be resilient. And we're going to be looking at some different ways of navigating, when, as you press your way, sometimes life could throw you a curve. And so that workshop is tomorrow. And the workshop is $25, and that $25 is for a workbook, and it also includes lunch and a continental breakfast. And so I seen over the months that we've been doing this, I think this is going to be number 5. I've seen different people make the adjustments based on the information that they receive. I see them now thriving in different areas of their life. And so being able to get that information and being able to allow somebody to come alongside of you to help encourage you, help build you up, and to get these tools are very vital for success. And so, Mr. Brumfield, I know you've been at you've been at all our workshops, haven't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, what would be your testimony when it comes, first of all, when it comes to the workshops that we've had? Have that helped you? Um, have you been challenged with the information to make the adjustments? What is your feedback from the workshops in general? And then secondly, let's talk about how this workshop can be beneficial when it comes to your experience from, things that you tried that didn't work, or challenges that you've had in trying to get your business up and going to the place that you can say all the things that you said. Do you remember everything you said when I asked you how you was doing?
Yeah.
All right, say it again.
So I said that I had been working, I had been pushing and pressing, and I was in expectation of God doing some things in my life, because I haven't stopped. I have been moving. I continually try new things, and even my daughter was like, "Man, Mom, you if that don't work, you got another idea. You got something else. You got something else," because she really helps me with different things in the business. And so she can see that I am not stopping, because I believe God and what he's going
Okay,
to do.
all right. Now we're gonna talk about that in a minute here. That's pretty good. So put a pin in that, and because you live in it, I don't have to say don't forget it. But let's drop back with these workshops. What is your thoughts on these workshops? So they were born out of an idea of empowering people. I've been working with people for over 45 years in ministry, and I've been pastoring now for over 30 years in ministry. And I know people pretty good, and I'm watching people. I see people with a heart to want to give, a heart to want to do, but then be limited because they're working a job, or limited because their business is not moving. And so, looking at it and say, how can I help them? Because oftentimes it's all about, to some people, all the church want is your money. That's kind of their thing, which is not true at all. But I was trying to figure out, how can I help empower people so that they can live out this life of prosperity, because the Bible said God will bless the work of your hands. And so it doesn't mean that he's going to drop something out of the sky. He's going to bless the work of our hands. And so I thought, if I could help people to be better entrepreneurs and help show them the way, that they will be able to be more prosperous. And so that's how the workshops were born. And so now this is going to be, I think, workshop number 5. And so, based on your experience attending the workshops, what would be your testimony and feedback?
Well, when you first, put the workshops out there, I was excited, because I'm always ready to learn something, even though I may know it already. if I need to hear it again, that I may not be doing it to my best ability, or I might not be doing it at all. So hearing the different levels, it was like you started here and then you went up, you did the credit building, we did the bootstrapping. Now the bootstrapping, that might have been my favorite
Okay.
because that's where I was, and still I'm still there.
Right.
So, creating funds to fund my business, and before I was using my own money to fund the things that I need to get cameras, to get lighting, to get all the things that I needed for the business, and then um, being able to make enough so that the business will take care of that stuff and it's not dipping into my personal funds. And so I think that was the one that was really important for me, because we also got to meet someone from the bank, right? And they told us about different programs that I was not aware of, that
Okay.
I could tap into and at least get some resources about for the future. And then the credit repair one, that one was important because in that one, was it credit repair? I think it showed me different ways to build my business credit
Mhm.
while I'm working on my personal credit. But you could tap into different uh, pay. I don't know what they're called, but credit cards that you put a balance on there first and
Mhm.
then you pay on it, or gas credit cards to build up and things like that. So those were, I think those two were my favorite ones out of all of them. And then um yeah, so yeah.
So now put you on the spot here, which you could be
Mhm.
kind of dangerous, because a lot of people, they you know, but I'm just gonna ask you in a way that you can wiggle your way out of it. Were you number one when you talked about the bootstrapping and how that was your one of your favorite and how that helped you? How does the workbook help you after the workshop?
Because I'm a questions person. So the workbook gives me different questions, and it asks me, what do I really understand about bootstrapping? So then I can write that down. And then as I'm going through the book, I'm going to learn some more stuff, because of course he couldn't tell us everything in
Mhm.
the workshop, but there's page after page of me having to sit down and write stuff out. I like that because it lets me know how much I understand, and then it lets me know what I need to add on. So, okay, so for the bootstrapping, I did the part one, and then now I got to look at part two, and that's going to stretch me even more because there's more stuff that I have not done already. So, just going to the workshop is good, but the workbook afterwards helps me continue on, because sometimes we go to workshops and we're like, hey, we're on fire, and then we go home and week two we're not doing anything. But the workbook keeps me on track so that I'm continuing to look at my finances, and I'm continuing to take this out or add that in. So the workbook is important.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that because we had considered not doing the workbooks anymore going forward, um, and actually it was the bootstrapping one that if we would have went forward without doing workbooks going forward, that would have been the one that we would not have had.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so um, I felt like we started out with the workbooks, so let's just continue to do the workbooks. I didn't want the workbooks to be just something you put on the shelf, you know,
Right.
that that a person who's really serious about going forward would be able to be empowered, because a lot of times you're in a workshop, you're being inspired by the atmosphere, but then there are some things you don't cover that you need to continue to feed into in order to get where you need to go. So that was good to hear that. Now, next year, if we do them again, uh,
Right.
I might have to, we might consider something different, maybe electronic book or something, because the books, they don't print them for free.
Right.
It costs to put them together. And of course, the $25 registration fee doesn't cover that. All right. Secondly, you talked about how, learning about business credit, that you were able to see different ways to offset your expenses and to help keep you from personally funding your own business. Were you able to set up some of those 30-day nets or some of those, business credit things that they had? They had the Uline and, different things we talked about in the quick trips and things of that sort. Were you able to set up any of those things?
I did a Uline. I
Okay.
didn't do the gas card yet, but I said, let me start with this, get
Hmm.
it up and going, and then I can add on as we go forward. But yep, I actually did it during our break at
Okay.
the workshop. I went ahead and did the application so that I wouldn't forget or not do it.
All
So
right.
doing it in that moment, yep, I went ahead
All
and
right.
did it.
Did you actually order anything from them yet?
I haven't ordered yet.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. Well, that's good. All right, you on first base, so you good, you good. And so that's important for people to hear because we're talking about practical information that you can use. Just like you said, you were able to go on break and actually, put in the application. That it wasn't things, a lot of times you go to a conference and they talk about all of these things, but they were so far over your head that
Right.
even though you get it and you want to be there, you're not at a place where you could take that next step. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so you leave inspired, but a
Mhm.
lot of times you don't have that how to. And so with
Mhm.
these workshops that we've had, they've been practical steps, basic things that you could do now to begin to improve your situation. And so, that's awesome. Now, talking about failing forward. Now, this workshop that's coming up on tomorrow, failing forward fast. When you talked about, now I'm gonna have you repeat again. When I asked you how you were doing, you said what?
Awesome.
All right. No, you said more than awesome.
I said awesome, and I said I was an expectation, because I had been working on some stuff, and I believe God is moving, and He's going to begin to open up those doors for me.
Okay, and so that part there, that you've been working and you've been in expectation and you've been believing that as a result of the labor and effort that you've been putting in, that there's a manifestation, there's a harvest, there's some some ROI, if you will,
Yeah.
return on your investment
Hmm.
that's getting ready to come forward. And
Yeah.
so in your working hard, in your striving, the to keep plowing and keep you know sowing into your business, and grinding, if you will. um,
Hmm.
have you had setbacks? Have you had things that you've tried that didn't work? Have you had um, times where you felt like, you know what, you know I don't want to keep doing this?
Well, I've not gotten to the place where I don't want to keep doing it, but I have had some setbacks,
Okay.
and I've had many disappointments. I've started many things. I've done many classes. I've written multiple books
Mhm.
and done group books where brought other people in and did books, and then it just didn't move forward, and so it was disappointing because all of that work you put into it, and then it just sits like, no, I know that this would have worked because I had a whole plan,
Okay.
but it hasn't stopped me. I
Okay.
just get another book,
Hmm.
or I create another program, or I just keep moving forward because one, I love what I do.
Hmm.
I absolutely love it. And I'm so glad that I was open enough to really tap into and find out that this is my spot. And I know that there are people out there that need help. So if I stop, then what does that say? Did I not believe that this was what God called me to do? Do I not believe that He's more than able to do it for me, to open up the doors of opportunity? So as I get more ideas, I'll wake up in the morning with another idea. Okay, let's run with it. Let's try it. I've learned how to adjust and keep going.
Okay, all right. Now that's very good segue to, you know, um, this workshop because in our workbook we have a case study, and it's just full of different information. And it have other case studies, but one of the ones in here was, and I'm not going to tell you the name of the company. You have to look it up when you come and get your book. But
Okay.
the company, they had poured all of this money into creating this game, and when they launched this game, it fell flat on its face. You know, it didn't. It's just the people just didn't respond to it. Interestingly, when they looked at the, I'll say the feedback, if you will, they found out that if they just tweaked the game to do something different, that it would meet the need that the people were looking for. So it went from being a game to being actually a photo app.
Oh, okay.
In the photo app, and they end up selling this photo app to a company for $25 million.
Wow.
So in 2004, it failed. In 2005, they sold it for $25 million, all because they was willing to make a pivot with
Mm-hmm.
what they were doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so some of the things that you talked about that didn't seem to work, it could be that you could learn some things about where people are and what your product is, and maybe making those pivots, or with the product can make you be a case study. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that's part of the workshop. And I thought that was really, really good, because a lot of times that's what happens. We don't realize that even though it may not work for this, it may work for that. And a
Mhm.
lot of, when I was looking through here, a lot of the different, even different drugs that has been made, they made the drug for one thing and it didn't work, but they discovered that it affected something else. So then they remarket or rebranded the same drug for the thing that it worked on, and it was a huge success.
Yeah.
Now in the company, I'm gonna tell y'all the name because y'all, so you won't think I'm making it up. Is Flickr. You heard of Flickr?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I have heard of it.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
Flickr. That's the name of the company, that from 2004, and then they end up selling it for 25 million, and that's one of our case studies and in our book. And so it's this weekend. This weekend, we've been working, preparing everything. We got the workbooks, we got the tables all set, and it's limited space. We don't have, a lot of space, but it's limited space, and it's all set up and ready to go. And most of all of our workshops, it's been full. And I'm telling you that you need to go to dr80burns.com/events. You need to register right away. One of those spots is your spot. And like Mr. Brumfield was talking about with the workbook by itself, to have that continuing education and reinforcing, and even like I talked about with that case study was very encouraging to me, even when I read it. And there's some other information in here, understanding what uh, you know failure is, because a lot of times we look at failure the wrong way when we talk about, you know, failure as an end. You know what I mean? And failure is not an end. Failure is a part of a stepping stone to go to greater heights. I don't think there's nobody that has not made any mistakes. I was looking at a quote from John Maxwell. He says this: if you don't learn the easy lessons, they get harder. All right.
Mhm.
And so if you don't learn the easy lessons gets harder. And I've always said, I have over there on my, I don't know if you can see it right. Yeah, boom, that quote right there where my thumb is. It talks about, you know, not wanting things to be easier, but me getting stronger. And
Yeah.
so it's so important that we allow ourselves to be taught so that a lot of the things that may be hard right now, we can become stronger and make those things easy. But if we don't learn the easy, we won't be able to do the hard.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking also about, when you talked about your journey and when you talk about things that you were challenged with as strive to, birth your business and get your business to the next level. When we talk about partnership, when we talk about, a lot of times I hear business owners feel like they're on an island by themselves,
Mhm.
and they're afraid to share with others because people steal your ideas, or
Mhm.
people use you for their own advantage, and they don't really have a sense of true partnership. When it comes to some of the things that you're doing, would you say that you have a sense of some of that? Maybe not to the fullest degree, but as far as going at it alone, as far as being on the island, or as far as finding it challenging to partner with other people who may or may not have um, some information or a platform to help you to go forward.
I'm trying to think. I think that I have a desire to have partnerships, and I've reached out to people, and those people that I've reached out to do things together, they've been open to do them. I've not reached out to someone to partner with them, and they said and they said no. I was doing some Mother's Day tapings, and I just reached out to people on TikTok and was like, "Hey, you want to come and do this show with me?" And it was open. People were like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I haven't had people reject when I try to partner with them as of yet.
Okay, all right. A lot of times that's the thing when I interview some of the uh, people, usually at the entrepreneur workshops, during the break or afterwards, I'll ask people in the lobby or whatever different questions about where they are, and some of the things that they find difficult. And that's one of the main things that I hear from a lot of the entrepreneurs is they find it challenging to partner with other people when it comes to their field and where they are going. The other thing that I hear a lot of is that when things don't work out, that uh, resilience is the word that describes difficulty finding their way back. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
when when you have a setback and you take it to heart or you take it personal, it makes it challenging for a person to come back. So
Yeah.
in some of the challenges that you've had with your business, moving forward, with the times when you talked about you had many disappointments,
Mhm.
during those times, how would you say resilience played a part with you when it comes to overcoming or getting past those disappointments?
Yeah, resilience plays a huge role in that because one, and this is not, uh, I'm just going to say it, I learned from you. I
Okay.
watched you overcome major challenges, like major stuff, and you keep rolling. It doesn't mean that you don't see it, you're not ignoring it, you're not doing any of that. You see it, you're dealing with it, and you still move forward. So then I had to learn over the years to say, wait, I can't keep stopping and starting and stopping and starting. That takes too much energy. You can do it, but now you got to rev yourself back up. You got to get your mind back right. You got to get back focused. You got to listen to all the people. Oh, you still doing that? Oh, I thought you stopped that. No, I got to keep going. Even though I might slow down a little bit, I might not be running as fast on some days, but I'm always moving forward. That's another thing you taught me. whatever you got to do, you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep moving forward. So when it comes to being resilient, that's what I do. I just keep moving forward. I keep focusing. I can do this. I got this. God is with me. He's called me to do this. And I just get back up and keep going again.
Well, that's very key, because when you understand the nature of things, it's not so much that things is hard. A lot of times, is us adjusting to things is hard, because we have sometimes a perspective of how we think it should be,
Right.
and it would be nice if it was that way. But the reality of the time is that things are not always how they seem. And
Right.
so being able to bounce back when things don't go your way. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is really, like Paul said, pressing forward, but it's really nothing in behind you that you want.
Yeah.
In our book, it talks about, I believe it was in the book, somewhere I was reading, where they talked about the balance beam, when it comes to gymnastics. They have that balance beam, and when they're practicing on that balance beam, one of the things that the first thing that they teach them, one of the first things that they teach them is that you can't fall backwards.
Okay.
Because if you fall backwards, one, you don't know what's back there, or two, if you fall backwards, you're going to hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand that on a balance beam, right? Because
Right.
your focus is forward, and if you fall backward, you don't know if you're going to hit your head on a corner, or you don't know anything. So they teach them, if you're going to fall, answer that.
Fall forward.
Fall forward. If you're going to fall forward, because you're still able to navigate. If I'm falling forward, even though I'm falling, I still see where I am, and I'm still somewhat in control, that I could choose how I fall, and I can
Yeah.
navigate, so I don't necessarily just fall, you know what I mean, in such a way that I had no control over my fall.
Yeah.
And so even in business, when we fall forward, even though what you said, some of those things you tried didn't work, it didn't set you back, it set you up,
Mm-hmm.
because you were still able to be further than you were. And the wisdom that you gained,
Yeah.
because, you smarter now, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, we've been on here chopping it up. Fail forward, put our flyer up there again. Fail forward. You want to make sure that you'll be a part of our workshop this weekend. Fail forward fast, learning despite setbacks. And this is even though it started out as an entrepreneur workshop. This is a workshop for anyone who are trying to move forward with your life. You
Yeah.
need these practical, tools, so that you're able to keep on thriving forward with your life. And like you said, $25 is for your workbook. Awesome workbook, and your workbook has got strategies for falling forward. I was just reading that as I went through the workbook, and it has some keys and some tips in there. It's got an excellent summary. It even has some online community forums and some recommended reading, and it has some different things you can implement as you fall forward. And the workbook is just filled with strategy, information for you to be able to fail forward fast, learning how to thrive despite setback. And so go to Dr. A.D. Burns /events and register today, $25. And it's going to be at Jericho 8086 North 76th Street here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I've had several people that ask me about receiving the workbook. We have not made the workbook available outside of the workshops as of yet. In most cases, we make just enough workbooks for those attending the workshop. But we did say that at some point we will create some type of library where a person would be able to go on and get the
Okay.
workbooks. All right. And so failing forward fast. We have several people that's going to be with us tomorrow, in helping us to navigate this topic. And so you definitely want to be in the house. We start at 9 o'clock and we end at 3. Over the workshops that you've been a part of, Minister Brumfield, would you say that because that's quite an investment to make on a Saturday, 9 to 3 on a Saturday. Saturdays is like prime time for many of us, and you literally have to either delegate or put things on hold in order to be, present at the workshop. And
Right.
and you being there, would you say that time has been an investment well spent for you?
Of course. I mean, the time goes fast. You don't even feel like you've been there from 9 to 3 p.m. That's a lot of span of time, but you really leave excited. You leave charged up. You leave wanting to hear more. So it's a great investment of your time and your $25.
Now, on I think a couple Financial Fridays ago, I said that if you get 2 people to register and attend the conference, then your conference will be free. And
Mm-hmm.
so that just came out of, you know, you know, came out of my spirit. I'll say I get spiritual. It came out, and we're talking about if you get 2 people, not people who are normally attend the conference, the workshop, but 2 people that have never attended the workshop to register, then your registration will be free. And I just thought that was a good way to encourage someone to come get encouraged. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you live in this life and you're trying to do anything, you're going to probably more than likely experience some type of failure,
Yeah.
some type of disappointment, some type of discouragement. You know, um, you know, that's just part of it. But to
Right.
be able to have information that empowers you to be able to navigate those situations, I believe is going to make your life the better.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like you said, this is a topic that even if you don't have a business, you should come, because we have situations, circumstances, conditions that happen and we don't know how to move forward. We get stuck. Well, this is a way that, okay, that didn't work. That relationship didn't work. This didn't work. That didn't work. But I can still move forward. That failed, but I can fail forward. So if you are out here and you're experiencing a challenge in your life and you're pretty much stuck and you want to learn how to move forward, this would be a great time for you to come and be a part of this workshop.
All right. Now, just in case I got to clear it up because some people be thinking,
Okay.
did I pay you for that commercial?
No. No, you
That
certainly did not.
was not a paid advertisement right there. Okay. I see we have Charlotte is on with us and Minister Pfeiffer. Good afternoon. It's almost evening, isn't it?
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you for tuning in. And we've been talking about our entrepreneur workshop. Let's put that flyer one more time as we get ready to close. We're talking about fail forward fast, learning to thrive despite setbacks. And so that's tomorrow, Saturday, April 27th from 9 to 3. And you're going to learn some strategies. You're going to hear some testimonies. You're going to see some practical information to help you to navigate setbacks. And, we're going to talk about, being resilient, bouncing back, when it comes to, the different things that we experience. And one of the things that we're going to see more than anything is really cultivating a mindset.
Yeah.
You know, for those who are Christians, the Bible says that we already have the victory. And so learning to fight from a place of victory versus fighting for victory is so important. And in order to fight from a place of victory, a person have to already see themselves in their mind as victorious,
Right.
as it's already been won. And so I'm just walking this thing out. And so oftentimes we're robbed of our imagination because we lack the confidence to believe that this too is going to pass. But I want you to come out and be a part of our workshop on tomorrow, Fail Forward Fast, and let us help you um, thrive despite the setbacks that you may experience in your life. And so go to dr80burns.com/events and register today. Register right now. And just as a special bonus to those, if you get 2 people to register that has never registered before, then your registration is going to be free. And I don't know what I said later on, earlier about giving away something else. I don't know if that was the last one or something. All right. But whatever I said, I'll do it. All right. Any closing comments, Minister Brumfield? Did I do all right?
Yeah. Like I said, don't miss out. Do not miss out. Go ahead and register. Um, Use that $25 to invest in yourself. If you're a business owner, you definitely need to be here, because we know when you're starting a business, when you're an established business, even Fortune 500 companies have challenges and setbacks. So you may know that, you may say, oh, I know, I've been in business this many years. There's going to be something that you don't know, or there's going to be something that you need to experience on tomorrow. So make sure you're there. Go ahead and register at dr80burns.com/events.
All right. All right. Well, listen, thanks again for joining me before our Beyond the Walls Fast Forward preview of an awesome workshop that we're going to have. And then I think we have a couple, maybe 2 more workshops. And then we have the expo. And then that's going to be our season of workshop. And I believe, and I'm looking forward to the testimony of those who have embraced the information and applied it to their lives, and how they're beginning to, blossom in this thing and become a force to be reckoned with. All right. Does that make sense? I have a young assistant, and oftentimes when I use terms like that, it'd be like, what does that mean? But you know what that means, don't you?
I know.
A
Yes.
force to be reckoned with.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, listen, thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow at 9 o'clock, 9 to 3, 8086 North 76th Street for a Beyond the Walls Fail Forward Fast workshop. And if you're a business owner, if you're someone who needs to be empowered despite what you go through, you need to be in the house on tomorrow. It's going to be time well spent. $25 because it's going to cover your lunch and your workbook. And listen, when you stop in, make sure you holler at me. Let me know that you're there for the first time, and I'll look forward to seeing you on tomorrow. All right. So don't forget, register today. dr80burns.com/events. $25 for Fail Forward Fast workshop. All right. Be blessed. Thanks again for tuning in.
All right. Bye-bye.